For months, my husband and I have been planning and waiting and planning and waiting to finally make the trip to the theme park capital of the world. I am talking about Orlando, Florida, home of Universal Orlando Resort and Disney World. Welcome to All Queer and Oddie here, where we talk about the trips we make and the information about them. So go ahead and like and subscribe. So we spent about 5 days in Orlando, four of which where we were at the theme parks, Universal and Disney World, and we actually stayed at two different hotels. The first being the Four Points by Sheraton, which was a hotel near Universal. And one of the great things about this hotel was that it was cheaper. We booked it on booking.com, and it was a partner hotel for Universal. So we were getting a lot of perks and benefits that came with it, including a free shuttle to the parks. Our room was a standard 2 queen bed room, as you can see here. Wasn't any bells and whistles, just a standard room that my husband and I needed in order to make it through the first 3 days while we were at Universal Orlando Resort. On the first day, we actually didn't attend a park. We actually just wanted to roam around and see what was around the hotel. We even had this mini golf course that was right next door, and it had live gators in the water. The very next day was our first day, and we decided to visit the new Epic Universe. We have been waiting for years for this new park to debut, and we finally were able to make it. Epic Universe opened in May of 2025, and thank goodness this park is fantastic. It is beautifully themed, it is beautifully decorated from the fountains to the rides to the portals. It is absolutely magnificent, and we were so glad we were able to come to this park soon after it opened. We were able to ride their star attraction, Stardust Racers, which is built and manufactured by Mach Rides. This ride is wild, and if you're a small child or someone who's not ready for big roller coasters, I would recommend that you would try to start with something smaller because this ride is insane and pulls a lot of positive G's and laterals, and you will be shocked at how crazy it is. We also rode Hiccup's Wing Gliders. That was in the world of How to Train Your Dragon, which was a beautifully themed world. I think it was the most beautifully themed portal in the entire park. We also visit Dark Universe, which features a lot of monsters, including Frankenstein, and it was also beautifully themed with the different smoke, very cobwebby tombstones, ghouls, goblins, witches, ghosts, the whole 9 yards for this portal. It was absolutely magnificent. We also took a visit to the Ministry of Magic, which is a world that's themed to the Wizarding World of Harry Potter, and we were able to go into the Ministry of Magic, which was, oh my god, it was like the movies. It was like you were on set, and we were able to ride the Battle of the Ministry, which is a ride that's themed to Dolores Umbridge and her trial. We also took a trip to Nintendo World, which, my goodness, once again, it feels like you were in the full game. One of my things I didn't like about this world was that it was very cramped. You probably heard a lot of people talk about this, but it's a very small world, so and a lot of people, so it feels like you're like sardines in a very small world. They also had different shows at the park, including this one about Hiccups and How to Train Your Dragon World, which was spectacular. And we also ate some great food, including this pretzel that was the shape of a spear in the Dark Universe. We also had this like cone-like food that was stuffed with macaroni and cheese and spicy chicken. It was also really good. And we ended our night with Pizza Moon, which is this like very interstellar type of pizza place. And we had two different types of pizzas. One on the left was actually made out of ube, so it made the crust purple. And for dessert, we went back to the Ministry of Magic to have their buttered beer crepes, and they were so good. And the very next day, we took a visit to Islands of Adventure, which is Universal's most iconic world that opened in the 90s. I was so excited to finally visit this park. I've never been before as a child, and I thought this park was, very typical to other theme parks in the world, kind of reminiscent to a lot of your regional theme parks like a Cedar Point or a Dollywood or Silver Dollar City. Anyway, I loved how everything was laid out. And we enjoyed some great rides here, including the iconic Incredible Hulk coaster, which was built by B&M. It was fantastic, even though this ride was approaching 30 years old. We even rode Velocicoaster, which, let me tell you, is both my husband Brian and I's favorite roller coaster of all time. Let me tell you. Um, Overall, I really loved Islands of Adventure. We were able to go to the world of Harry Potter and get some butterbeer and just enjoy the rest of the day with riding rides more than once, like the Incredible Hulk and Velocicoaster. Then the next day, we hopped over to Disney World. Yes, the Disney World. And this is also when we make the transition to our new hotel, the Jumbo House Resort on Disney World's property. It was themed to Animal Kingdom and it was great. We even got to see some live giraffes and other animals outside the hotel itself. Disney World is one of those places where everyone talks about it's the most magical place on earth. And I like to say that I don't know about that. But I was finally able to visit this park. We went to Epcot first, and we were able to ride some rides, including the Guardians of the Galaxy, got to tour different countries on the world, including Canada and England. If you don't know, Epcot is known as their more adult-friendly park. A lot of food options, a lot of international events and attractions, and we had a pretty good time. It was very hot that day and not a lot of shade. Not a lot of shade at all in these parks, and not a lot of seating. That's also some things I did not like about this park specifically. But we also were able to go to the Hollywood Studios at Disney World. As you can see, the iconic Tower of Terror in the back, which was, was an okay ride. This is themed to Hollywood. So you see the Chinese theater all the way in the distance. This park was also very hot, very sunny, not much shade. And I was so glad to be able to ride the Rock and Roller Coaster before it's going to transition to be themed to the Muppets. As you can see here, I was so happy to finally ride this iconic ride. Now, here are some things I did not like about Orlando specifically. One of the things that my husband and I discussed is that there wasn't much to do outside the theme parks itself. It kind of reminded me of like a cheaper Las Vegas in the South or in Florida. A lot of chain restaurants, a lot of like gimmicky arcades and things like that. And we just didn't see much outside of the theme parks. But for the theme parks themselves, we would like to say that it was a good experience and we were finally able to come to this city that most people come to with cruise ships or theme parks itself. I would say if you're looking for something that's outside the theme park world, it's kind of hard to find due to the fact that a lot of things that we searched on Google were like at least an hour drive outside of the city. So I don't know, Orlando has its perks, but also has its downsides. But that was our trip to Orlando. We do plan on returning and riding some more things and trying to find some other things to do outside of Disney World and Universal. Well, thank you for watching, and we'll catch you next time.